And we are back here at 9:30 with a live look behind us here of the Embarcadero and the Bay Bridge under sunny skies this morning.
Yeah, just a glorious start to the day, John.
It is beautiful out there for sure. Definitely clearer than yesterday was, and very much so calmer than yesterday was, and thankful for all of that. Take a look outside at what we got from Mount Tam. Beautiful sunrise. Definitely a great day to maybe venture on a hike. This weekend is going to be holding up nice and steady with mild daytime highs, but some chilly evening lows. We're still in the 40s for parts of the inland East Bay, as well as parts of the North Bay, but temperatures are rising pretty quick at this point. Oakland, you're at 56 degrees now. As we move into the afternoon, daytime highs rise into the 60s and even close, if not to 70 degrees for quite a few of us. Michael?
Thanks, John. Good morning, everyone. Taking a look right now at our roads, we are dealing with a major sig alert. This is over in the East Bay. It's a little bit more inland. It's over towards Tracy. It's westbound 580. This is what things are looking like as far as how far that backup goes. There's a tractor trailer that was actually caught on fire earlier this morning. Take a look. We have visuals of what westbound 580 is looking like there. Again, this is over towards that Altamont Pass area. It's stop and go traffic because of that tractor trailer that caught fire. So CHP is aware of it, and they are working to get it taken out of the way, but it is going to cause major delays. We're also dealing with residual delays. This is over in the South Bay, Mountain View area, northbound 101. And again, this has been the case for a little bit, but things are cleared there now, just residual delays. Over in the East Bay, we do have another accident. This is in Oakland. Residual delays there as well. All has been cleared. Lastly, we'll take a look at that not the Golden Gate Bridge, the Bay Bridge, 20-minute commute into San Francisco this morning.
All right, we'll take a look at this. That 7.0 earthquake that struck Humboldt County yesterday. Well, it left quite a bit of damage behind.
Yeah.
Well, at least in terms of some of the items that you see scattered around different retail stores in the area. Now it did, a lot of stuff on the floors there. We could see the soda cans and just a bunch of different debris.
Yeah, and we saw this repeated in lots of different places too. This was in Dell where, a lot of wine bottles ended up on the ground, as you can see, broken, a lot of glass that had to be cleaned up. Now that quake was also, it briefly caused a tsunami warning for some of our coastal areas, but luckily that was ultimately canceled.
Yes, and Governor Gavin Newsom, he did issue a declaration of emergency for 3 different counties. So this event did spread across quite a large area. Now, here are some ways to help you prepare for the next warning. Now, if you live, work, or go to school in a tsunami hazard zone, you should definitely think about mapping out routes to higher ground and also practice walking your routes, even at a time of day when it's a little darker.
Right, yeah, and put together that portable emergency kit. That's the final point on here. And make sure it has items in there for both you and your family members in a way that you can quickly grab it and run out if you have to.
Yes, and of course you can always download the My Shake app for some more information on the latest breaking alerts on events that might be happening in your area.
All right, and here's a look out in Ocean Beach in San Francisco where everybody heeded that tsunami warning. They got out of there. The video that you'll see here in a minute shows the Great Highway basically empty and the beaches empty as well. Lifeguards told everybody, get out of the water, get off the beach, and people heeded those warnings. Up in Marin County, students at Cove Elementary School, they were moved to higher ground because of how close that school is to the water. Once the tsunami warning was canceled, though, the students and staff were allowed to go back to campus.
And that tsunami warning did bring back memories of what happened in Santa Cruz 13 years ago. Check this out. This video is from March 2011 when a tsunami triggered by an 8.9 magnitude earthquake in Japan that swept through Santa Cruz, damaging boats and piers.
0.0 magnitude earthquake hit Northern California. And the shaking was felt as far south as the Bay Area, and it triggered a short tsunami warning among coastal communities. Now, the earthquake hit at 10:44 in Humboldt County, about 60 miles southwest of Ferndale, California. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, they tell us aftershocks could continue for a week. You can see here in this video some of the damage caused to businesses in Humboldt County. You can see a lot of items knocked off of the shelves, and we asked the USGS if there were any future concerns that we should keep in mind. The experts say that it is a complicated question, but share they aren't surprised that this earthquake took place, but it was one of the bigger ones they have seen in a while. And as I said, this was felt all across Northern California. This is video from Sacramento, Vacaville, and Glenn County showing water splashing in swimming pools when that quake hit. And Governor Gavin Newsom addressed the quake and tsunami warning.
Call tsunami warnings anytime you're 5.0 or greater around a coastal region. Typically goes into effect. It allows us to back off through abundance of caution. That was lifted. Nonetheless, we're concerned about damage, particularly in the northern part of the state, in Del Norte and Mendocino and Humboldt County. As a consequence of that, I just signed off on a state of emergency, a declaration that will allow us to provide more resources, provide some of our National Guard resources as needed, access to state fairgrounds, waiving some contractual.
And according to USGS, at least 500,000 people received alerts on their phones, and over 500,000 alerts were sent via MyShake.
The things that really affect how much shaking people feel is how far they are from where the earthquake is generated and how deep that earthquake is in the crust. So in this case, the earthquake is not particularly deep. We're still working on a good estimate, but it's on the order of, 10 to 20 kilometers deep, but it's fairly far offshore. So if the earthquake happens farther away, there's less shaking. And in the case of the 1989 earthquake, it occurred underneath the Santa Cruz Mountains in the Bay Area, and the shaking radiated under a lot of urban areas. And, a lot of the damage was due to things like weak soils and liquefaction.
In the newsroom, Leslie and KRON4 News.
A big story we've been following for you. It was day 2 of jury deliberations in the murder trial of Nima Momeni, the man accused of stabbing Cash App founder Bob Lee to death last April.
Yeah, we have KRON4's Rob Nesbitt now. He was at court when jury deliberations ended for the day.
An interesting turn of events with jury deliberations Thursday afternoon. The jury was in a holding pattern for about an hour when they returned from lunch. They did not go right back to deliberations. Instead, defense attorneys showed up in street clothing, not their normal suits, to meet with the judge. Jurors lost an hour of deliberations Thursday while the judge met with lawyers on both sides. Defense attorney Sam Zanganeh spoke with reporters on his way out of the courtroom, saying despite the pause, deliberations continued on with the 12 jurors the rest of the afternoon.
The judges maintained the shift.
Momeni has been charged with murdering his friend and Cash App founder Bob Lee under the Bay Bridge on April 4th, 2023. Lee's family was present for all 6 weeks of the trial and vocal about their desire for a guilty verdict on the charge of first-degree murder.
What I want to see as an outcome is I don't want to see Bob's kids ever have to watch the man who killed them back on the street. Right? That is the main thing, right? I never want to see that happen.
The prosecution has argued that Momeni blamed Lee for introducing his sister Kazar to a drug dealer who drugged and sexually assaulted her. But attorneys for Momeni say their client was acting in self-defense and that it was Lee who brought a knife to try to kill Momeni. Legal analyst Stephen Clark says it's important for families of both the victim and accused to remember innocent until proven guilty.
Understandable how a victim's family becomes engaged in this process and does express emotion, but at the same time, the presumption of innocence still stands unless there is a conviction.
If the jury sides with Momeni on the argument of self-defense, then he could be convicted of manslaughter or involuntary manslaughter. An acquittal of all charges would make him a free man. When it comes to the process of reaching a verdict, legal analyst Michael Cardoza is not expecting a quick decision.
The amount of evidence that went into this case and the length of this case, you can expect the jury to be out at a minimum, and this is certainly just a guess, but at least 2 or 3 days.
The jury was dismissed Thursday without reaching a verdict. There are no deliberations on Friday, which means the jury will reconvene Monday morning. Reporting in San Francisco, I'm Rob Nesbitt, KRON4 News.
Well, we are just days away now from the start of the new year, and hundreds of new laws will go into effect, impacting everything from drinking alcohol in public spaces to taking time off of work and medical debt as well. So here's a breakdown of some of what's coming next year. Firstly, local agencies are required to approve or deny duplex and lot splitting applications within 60 days. And if the agency does deny the application, it has to provide a list of what would be needed to fix the application. Also, applications can no longer be denied simply because the agency believes it would have an adverse impact on the physical environment. Well, sales of firearms between 2 people that are completed through a dealer are no longer exempt from a law that limits buyers to 1 application to purchase a handgun every 30 days. Firearms dealers are also now required to have gun buyers or give gun buyers a pamphlet from the state that explains the reason for and the risks of owning a firearm. And employees will be entitled to take time off of work to help family members who've been a victim of violence. Employees are now allowed to use sick time to cover that absence, and employers are also no longer allowed to require workers to use up their vacation time before they can take any paid family leave. And credit reporting agencies are also going to be banned now from including medical debt on consumer credit reports. Information regarding medical debt will not be allowed to be provided to consumer credit reporting agencies, and if it is, that debt has to be voided. And cities and counties will be able to designate entertainment zones. These are those areas where you can consume alcohol on city streets and sidewalks during certain days and times. The state, as you may remember, ran a pilot version of this law in San Francisco. It worked out well, so now all local governments are allowed to participate. And then lastly, social media companies operating in California are required to have a process for users to report child sex abuse material and to remove and block it from the platform.
Well, the A's are on track to break ground on their brand new Las Vegas stadium in the spring. After nearly 4 years of negotiations, the Stadium Authority Board in Nevada unanimously approved all the financing and development agreement for the team's new ballpark that will cost nearly $2 billion to build. The chairman of the Stadium Authority Board spoke about the process, the transparency, and protecting the public's portion of the bill.
Really significant day for Las Vegas and for Nevada, and there'll be more of them. We're going to have a groundbreaking, and we're going to have a topping off party, and we're going to have opening day, and we're going to have many years of Major League Baseball.
Yes, it's a big day for the A's. It represents more than a year of work with the authority. We're really grateful that the governor and the legislature gave us this opportunity.
The next big event will be the groundbreaking, and they're looking to play ball in the facility in spring 2028. The A's owner, John Fisher, contributing an additional $250 million for upgrades and fan enhancements. No matter how much more of a stadium costs, the public's portion will never exceed $380 million. For your money this morning, Dollar Tree is considering changes under President-elect Donald Trump's possible tariff plan. Prices right now for many of the products are $1.25, but the company says that price could increase if Trump taxes imported goods. The company says they may take products off the shelves if they become too expensive. Trump has said that he plans to impose a 25% tariff on products from Mexico and Canada, as well as an additional 10% on goods from China. 40% of Dollar Tree's sales are reliant on goods from China.
Well, it's 9:41. We're going to take a break, but ahead, all aboard. Coming up next, we're going to get a sneak peek at the holiday cheer that's coming to the Bay Area this weekend.